Hello, I'm Suzana Brady, Chairman of the RIST Forum and Senior Vice President of Worldwide Sales and Marketing for Cobalt Digital. I'm here doing one of my favorite things, which is really to gather all my wonderful best friends, members of the RIST Forum. We all here today to talk a little bit about different aspects of history, implementation, and really hit some of the great milestones of this story that we've been building since 2017. So we're going to have several speakers, and I'll see you towards the end. Thank you very much.
My name is Kieran Kunhya. I'm the CEO of Open Broadcast Systems, a manufacturer of encoders and decoders, and I'm also one of the RIST Forum directors. As an early adopter of RIST, I found the ability to support multipath error correction a unique feature that RIST had, as well as the ability to use standard tools such as TCP dump to diagnose problems. This was in stark contrast to other technologies at the time. And so we had several customers in 2019 roll out RIST in major locations for very high profile feeds to large numbers of viewers, and these feeds stayed stable across multiple internet connections for many years. We're still passionate about using RIST. The capabilities of its multipath support are still superior to other protocols, and we still at this IBC are pushing it and recommending it to our customers today. And so I hope you use RIST further in your products. Thanks.
So my name is Rozenberg. I'm one of the members of the RIST activity group and member of the RIST Forum. I am the CTO and co-founder of Alvalinks. I'm going to talk to you about the RIST simple profile, how it came about, what we did with that, and why it was such an influence in the industry. The simple profile came about in 2018 after a lot of debate in the activity group. We wanted to have something very fast that will work over unicast and multicast, have forward error correction enabled, have multipath capability so that the industry can integrate that into their workflows. Suddenly, we can have error queue, multipath, bonding in one single protocol, way ahead before other protocols that were at that same time. With a simple profile, you can easily integrate and add that to your RTP workflow, whether it was unicast and multicast, overcome NAT traversal using that on the internet. We can trim down packet recovery, move data between multiple links, and have a very solid and robust solution using the RIST simple profile. Of course, there were some IPR issues, but those were resolved as people contributed their knowledge and experience to the RIST community, and that people can use the RIST simple profile and have a very easy IPR sign off with the vendor that owns the IPR. I have been using the RIST simple profile for many installations across the world. Interoperability between vendors was in breeze because it was RTP with RTCP recovery. And it was a very magnificent thing that we brought to the industry. Low delay, robust solution until the next profile came along.
Hello, my name is Ciro Noronha, and I'm the Chief Technical Officer for Cobalt Digital, as well as the President of the RIST Forum. And I have double duty as the editor of the RIST specifications. What I want to tell you today about is the history of RIST. RIST started in 2017 when some customers went to VSF and said, I have all this equipment that talks over the internet, but they don't interoperate. Go fix it. VSF, as usual, created a committee, an activity group, to come up with something that fixes it. The first meeting of that activity group was during NAB 2017 when we actually started doing some work about it. And it took us a year to come up with something. During that time, many companies proposed their own private protocols or proprietary protocols, but we decided to go with something more standard. We went with a base of RTP that makes it interoperable with anything else that doesn't speak RIST. So after a year of discussing and talking about user scenarios and everything, we had our first demo at the VSF spring meeting, at Cisco in San Jose, California. It was a closed demo. We did some streaming, and it actually worked very nicely. We learned some things in that, and then moved on to first public interop at IBC in 2018. And that's how RIST is launched. The RIST AG, the guys who actually develop RIST, is composed by a number of companies. These companies have been doing this for a long time and freely contribute their expertise to the effort. So yeah, it takes a little bit longer, but we take advantage of the experience of all these guys, and eventually what we come up with, I think it's pretty good. And that's how RIST evolves. We got simple profile that gives you basic transport. We got main profile that gives you security, and we've got advanced profile that gives you everything. And now we are working on ancillary things like receiver synchronization, source adaptation, a RIST relay. Some of these are published, some of these will be published shortly. So that's RIST for you. We move not very fast, but we get there with the best possible protocol.
I'm Paul Calleja. I'm CTO and CEO of GlobalM. We've joined the RIST Forum recently because we've got more customers who are asking us for RIST services on our network. So not only do we support SRT, but we support RIST now as well. And that allows us to do things like if the source is in SRT, it can be then made into RIST or vice versa as well. So that's been extremely helpful for the customers that are now making the transition over to using RIST either for simple or main profile.
Hi, my name is Harjinder Sandhu, Director of Product Marketing here at Zixi. And today we're talking about the initiatives here at RIST Forum. We at Zixi have always been a proud supporter of the standards-based approach, and we will continue to support standards-based approach that leads to more interoperable system. At Zixi, we support over 18 industry protocols and are a strong believer that interoperability is the way to move forward. We have always been lending our expertise, and will continue to do so today, all the way from the beginning days to today, to lend our expertise in terms of making RIST better. And today we're proud to lend our support to the RIST Forum. RIST, we continue to see RIST as being widely adopted throughout the industry platforms, and Zixi supports RIST, and we hope to see it gain more popularity and more acceptance in the coming days. Thank you very much.
Hi, this is Sergio Ammirata, and one of the developers and the maintainer of the LibRIST library, and I'm also the chief scientist and founder of SipRadius LLC. I'm going to be talking about LibRIST today. The original LibRIST is interesting because SipRadius had already a working library, a working code base for packet recovery back in 2014. And after many years of perfecting that code base, we decided to open source it right before the pandemic started. The story then continues that we created an API for it, and there were a lot of participants because when the pandemic again started, there were a lot of people at home with free time, and that ended up giving us a really solid open source core of about 1,000 commits within a year and a half. The library is there to facilitate the adoption of the RIST protocol. For us, it has been a very rewarding experience. We don't necessarily make money from the library itself, although we use the library within our own products with a fancy user interface, and we make it a point to use the exact same version of the library that we publish. So there are no hidden features that we have that you don't have available in the open source community. We make the library BSD type 2 to make sure that everybody can use it even for commercial purposes without having to pay royalties. Our objective is to have the most wide adoption possible of the RIST protocol itself. The library after 2 or 3 years of existence, has matured and is available in a VLC video player in FFmpeg. It has been adopted by all the open source projects such as OBS. It is part of the packaging system of FreeBSD, of Debian, and the Mac Homebrew, and many others. So we hope that this wide adoption will make this interoperable protocol, available to anybody in broadcast or in mobile and any type of device, desktop device as well. Thank you.
We're lucky to have our key contributors for the RIST Forum here today, getting together to talk about why we think this is such a great initiative and why it's so important for the industry. We all in this broadcast space know that reliability is the key to success when broadcasting content. You just want to make sure that your content is received and processed correctly on the other end. So that's the number one thing. Transport over IP, it's no different. It's the same thing. Today we have multiple vendors and content providers throughout the world really taking advantage of various standards and implementing their own version of the standards, which usually leads to very complicated solutions. So interoperability was deemed to be the second most important thing on distributing content, and SRT early on developed this own protocol developed by one company, and the RIST Forum saw the requirement to have a collaboration of companies to work together on something more broad and more complete. So we have to remember, we get asked all the time, what are the differences between SRT and RIST? And in a nutshell, SRT is unicast and is a single connection. RIST today is a collaboration of 260 company members throughout the world, with many dozens of implementations of RIST, both for contribution and distribution. So it's a much richer set of features and much more complete. Of course, we have a lot more contributors than being a single company, and we have a lot to offer. So if you're working with near perfect network environment, then you can go either with SRT or RIST. But of course, most of the cases, the network performance is less than ideal. And in that case, you will benefit from working with the security and reliability of RIST, and also all the additional features that we offer that no one else offers. So I just wanted to say that if you are interested in deploying RIST or working with RIST in any way, the VSF, the Video Services Forum, publishes for free, all the technical recommendations. And we also publish the guidelines for the implementations for users and vendors. So you can basically use all the free material to deploy RIST and to be able to be interoperable with all the other solutions out there. So if you have any questions, please contact the www.rist.tv. And again, hope to see you soon, and give us a shout. Thank you very much.